done at a time that I want to be done at today, around about lunchtime. And obviously, we can see that I had a good day. 850 bucks plus I've got some shares reserved here, so we'll take off 30 bucks there. Not much shares traded, so commissions are going to be low as well. So I'm going to say that we're going to finish at about 800 bucks on the day. Um, and so clearly, like we talked about on the last recap, was just focusing on making the right decisions, on not trying to make it all back at once, just really fresh start to the week. And that was what was really rewarding today, was having that fresh start. I really was looking forward to today, Monday, getting back in the saddle. And that's just an indication of sometimes you need to just take a step back. And if you have one of those red days, maybe it would have been more beneficial for me not to even trade on Friday, right? And just taking a step back and said, reassessed and said, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing right? And going from there. And sometimes a clearer head when it comes to trading is going to be more beneficial than going crazy on studying. I study frequently and I assess my trades and we do these reviews. Those things all help, right? But maybe taking a day off from, actually being in the market and trading, or trading in a simulator, that can get some of those frustrations and feelings of, I need to make everything back right now and right this minute, right? So, I'm not back to where I was. I was at about 7,400, right? In terms of my equity. So now I'm at about 6,350, we'll say. So I'm still about $1,000 down from where I was, but I'm still up significantly in my account in less than a month of trading, right? So, and the thing about today was my lowest, biggest loser was $63, right? So my biggest loss was $63. And other than that, I was just taking really solid trades, being patient. I feel like I traded really, really well today. So in contrast, I traded terribly on Thursday. I traded really well today. And why was that? Well, it was because, number one, I didn't trade any small caps, right? Whenever I trade small caps, I get into trouble, and sometimes you see, a good chart and it does end up working. Like we saw, I called it in pre-market and the chart worked, but it's the type of stock and the float and the way it moves and the volatility that can make it more difficult to trade. And that's my problem is with small caps. So, today I was looking at, when I was doing my watch list, I saw some potential opportunities that are lower price names, but I just didn't even put them on my watch list. So I wasn't distracted with them at the pre-market open, at the opening bell. I wasn't distracted with them as we got in, a half an hour into the day. I was just looking at the names on my watch list. And those were names that I felt like, were good potential movers. And, that's what worked out, right? Today, space right here, SPCE, Virgin Galactic, sorry. I have a tendency to call it space because obviously it looks like space. SPCE. So this was on the watch list actually for a short initially at the open, but it didn't work out that way. It was kind of all over the place, and that's what I thought it would be. But then I noticed this was making, so on the 5 minute here, right, we see it's making lower highs, right? In terms of the pattern, right? It's come up high a day, made a lower high, made a lower high, and continued down. Then it broke VWAP, couldn't really hold the VWAP, retested the VWAP, failed that. And then so there was, if I pull this out a bit as well, there was support here at 2750. I've tapped this multiple times on the 1 minute. So I was looking at this and I said, okay, like clearly this is now moved into a downtrend. Where does the entry? The entry is 20, just below 2750, right? So I got in at 27.49, 27.48, and then it proceeded to move to 27. I got out, took my profits, and then I entered, and then I knew 27 was another area of support that it had tested earlier. Right here, it was testing 27 quite a bit. So my pattern was looking at a break of 27, breakdown of 27, and we'd hit 26.50. And sure enough, that's what we did. We hit 2650. And now I could have just held it from 2750 to 2650 with 500 shares and, made 500 bucks, but I didn't do that. I got in and got out. And overall I made, I think it was about 300 bucks on the trade. But I didn't get the whole thing, but I was never in a stressful situation because I was just taking my profits, re-enter, taking my profits, re-enter. So, or, exit, 50% here, 50% there along the way down. And, that's because we're in that downtrend now. And I didn't really see any areas where we were going to have buying, right? I looked at here, 27, right? There's the buying area. We look at here, 2650, that's the buying area, right? Another one that I traded today was AI. So remember, I had troubles with that stock the other day. It cost me a big loser, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to trade it if I think it's a good setup, right? So we see the pre-market here broke down. It came out of the open and just faded right away. And I got in for a break of 115 here. This was the initial move right here, break of 115, which 115 was big support level that we saw. So we can see pre-market 117 was an important level, but the last remaining support level here, the previous couple of days was 115. You see that break, and then it ended up going all the way down to 105. I didn't take the whole way. I just took partial profits along the way. This has a tendency to be bought up. That's what I've learned over trading it the past few days. So again, got in and out, got short on the initial breakdown, and then I got short again on the breakdown, I believe, of 111 for a shorter trade. No, sorry, I took 2 trades short on this and 1 trade long. I took a volume bottom here. So volume bottom, right, 110, and then it ended up pushing up toward, usually you try to get to the VWAP. This didn't hit the VWAP. But it made a nice move off the lows, and we knew that from the volume here. Came in, buyers came in, and it was a bottom. So I took a short. I don't feel as comfortable with volume bottoms as I do with volume tops. I find that selling volume seems to be more influential rather than buying volume, and especially a way this has been trading. I was a little bit worried that it might fall off a cliff, so I didn't want to take a volume bottom long and get caught in that. So I just got in and out pretty quick. And what I was doing today was just pinpointing my entries, getting in, getting out, and nailing the profit down. And that's what I do best. And that's why I'm happy about the way I traded today, because I followed my skill set and I followed my strategy that I am able to execute very well, right? And I didn't do that on Thursday and Friday. I see the difference in the P&L, right? I did what I'm good at, and that's what the result is. So that's what I need to hone in on now the next couple of days is being patient, waiting for my setups that I like, and executing them to the best of my ability. And there was actually even a trade I took on NEO. So I looked at this as a cup and handle. Okay, so you can see a little bit better if I pull it out on the 1, right? So you see here, right? It came up, came back, and then I was looking at a breakout here, right? And it ended up doing that, ended up breaking out and pushed up towards the whole dollar, and then the SPY ended up flushing to start to break down here, and then so NEO pulled back, so I got out of the trade. I ended up getting a break even, but my idea was it was going to fill this gap here. Okay, so it gapped down overnight, and it started to break out over the highs in a cup and handle formation. So I thought if it broke out over over this area here at 40.66, that it would go to 41.50. It topped out at 41.48. Okay, so it's filling the gap here that it left from the after hours close on Friday. And so that's the windows that we look for. That's what I look for when I trade, is the windows that I can get in, and the algorithms are going to push it to the other side of the window and then get out, right? So that's how you can get those really clear-cut price targets. But unfortunately, it wasn't a clean mover, and this is why I don't like this stock, NIO. It's very algorithmic, and there's a lot of liquidity grabs and absorption of orders and stops and all that stuff. And for you to make a good profit on this, you need to kind of take a little more size but there's going to be drops here where you can see here it came up to 40.93, didn't even test 41, and then next thing you know it's down at 40.45, and then came back up and tested 41, and then came back down to 40.65, and then came back up and broke through 41 briefly, but then dropped back down instantly, and then finally started to push higher towards 41.31, and then so this is why I don't like that because that's hard to manage from a risk standpoint of if you're taking more size and it's got all those drops, all there's the potential that it breaks the 40-50 mark and then heads to 40, right? So I had the right idea with this, but again, it's the way certain stocks trade and move, and the volatility and the float and the volume and all those things that play a big role. So a good day today. I'm happy to be green. I'm happy that it was a solid green day. It makes back some of those profits. But now I got 4 days left in the week, and like I said, the idea is just to get back to where I was. And if that happens, obviously the totality of the month ends up being pretty solid, right? So day by day, week by week, year by year, that's the mentality you have to take as a trader.